Are you ready to spin to win on a budget? Ish? You know, budget is a pretty subjective term. A lot of people have different ideas about what that means. What I mean in this case is with last league's prices, I could put this together on day 4 for around 10 exalted orbs or less. This build is using uniques that are mostly common drops from bosses such as Shaper, Cirrus, and Elder, or it uses niche uniques that are usually in really, really low demand and not very popular. As always, you should price check all these things before you roll a character to attempt this build. I have no control over the economy. I don't have a magic wand I could just wave and make all these things cheap for the builds that I put out. Sometimes we get screwed if things get really popular. And then GGG threw us an extra monkey wrench here by changing Divines and Exalts, so no one really knows what the economy is gonna look like. Let me know in the comment section what you think about the Divine change. I'll be league starting a Spark Inquisitor, and I'm sharing my plans along the way, so if you'd like to use those resources to farm the currency for this build, you can do that. Or check my playlist for 3.19 builds, because it has every little thing that I've played at various steps, so you can kind of see a step-by-step staircase instead of a completed build at the end. Now, I did use a perfectly rolled Crown of the Inward Eye and a perfectly rolled Cyclopean Coil. You might think that these are hard to get, especially with the Divine changes, but there is a trick where you can vendor 3 of the same unique and get another re-rolled unique back. A lot of people do not know about this pattern, and in fact, there will probably be a whole market for people buying crap rolled uniques, vendoring them 3-to-1, and selling back well-rolled or better rolled uniques for profit. So look out for that if you want to be a hideout warrior. But for me, I prefer to play the game. I like builds that offer a chill play style where you don't have to hit very many buttons and you could just hang out with friends, shoot the shit, listen to music, and this is one of those builds. Somehow I just managed to talk for 2 minutes and tell you nothing about the build. I guess I'm becoming a real YouTuber. Now you might have noticed that I have Frost Blink on my left click, and that's because the boots give a huge cooldown to it so that you can blink almost every second. Now this was really, really helpful in mapping, and thank you for the suggestion. However, after trying both these bosses with it, I should have definitely taken it off. When I get to the fireball phase, or when I'm in the eater phase where I have to stand on each of the orbs, it is really, really difficult to do. But these recordings have it with the left click, and it's pretty hilarious watching me struggle to try to pick up the orbs or dodge things, so you can laugh at my deaths. I have my stats set up such that the coil gives me ignite and shock immune, but what I noticed is this thing still applied, and I guess it's a burn. It doesn't count as an ignite, so you learn something. So I should have really used probably Purity of Elements in place of either Wrath, or I should have swapped out my Grace for that just to get the immune to make the fight easier. And of course, I got garbage loot. But to be honest, I would have been pretty upset if I actually got good loot here, because I would have felt like I used some of my luck. Do you ever get that feeling? Oh, by the way, I looked at the Steam achievements, and 1.7% of players have killed Eater, and 1.7% have killed Searing Exarch. This surprised me. Have you guys killed these bosses? Let me know. Now, when I'm doing these showcases on the bosses, by the way, I try to intentionally take more damage than I would do if I'm trying to play super focused. And that's because I think it's more realistic of how the build's going to perform regardless of your skill level. So like there, I just tanked the slam just to see if I can tank it. I don't think I can tank it if it actually crits, but I'm not sure. So it's a little bit of limit testing that we're doing here. So here's the ball phase where basically I was telling you, it's like a nightmare to try to be precise on this, because you have to like stand on those balls for a second or they don't pop. Really hard to do. But this is, oh, Cyclone's really annoying too, and the Frost Blink for trying to get those balls that are coming at you. Basically, they get on top of you, and then you end up dying if you don't get away from them. But if you look at them, they move away. But it kind of behaves really weird with Cyclone, and it's really hard to position with Frost Blink so that it works. But we are going to get a second phase here, unfortunately. But that's only because we're on a 5-link here. So, yeah, this is actually a 5-link the whole time, guys, by the way. Probably should have mentioned that earlier. if I didn't. But yeah, see, I'm having problems actually running over the balls. Woo, barely got it. And now I gotta watch out for all these balls. See, I can't like really look at them for them to move away like I'm able to. Okay, now they're starting to shrink. Oh no. So you should go down though, hopefully really soon. Stupid balls, stupid balls. Okay, can we take this again? No. Okay, so it looks like he crit, and I couldn't take that one. Couldn't tank that one. So need a little bit more defenses there. Now we get to do a whole nother ball phase. Oh goody, the nightmare. Yay. We having fun? Okay. Come on. Oh, I almost died there. What? Okay, now we're like bricking the run and stuff. All right, he's dead. And no loot again. Fantastic. Let's quickly go over the gear and how it works. So we have flasks, and these are set up to be permanent. See, they have reuse at the end of flasks. So you press them like that, and then they'll keep refreshing over and over and over. And in combination, we have 2 slots because we have the trader, and this is giving us 8 flask charges every 5 seconds. Now, if you notice, these are all resist flasks, and I actually have 40% additional elemental resist during flask effect here. And we're just getting all our resists from these flasks. So you're going to have to roll flasks like this with increased duration. So you're going to want to roll these with increased duration. Reduced charge use will also work for these. Then the other thing that we're using is a corrupted blood jewel. It's not super important, the other stats here really, other than getting some damage or lightning damage or multi with elemental damage is always good. But just the corrupting blood is why we have this. Then we have all attributes. We have energy shield and life. And we'll get into why both life and energy shield are good in a second. And then we have spell damage while holding a shield, attack speed, maximum energy shield. And we have one more jewel, and this one has spell damage, attack speed, and maximum energy shield. So there's a wide variety of jewels that you can get for this, and these are just 3 property ones. Nothing too crazy. You don't need even 3 property ones. You could just go with 2 property ones, and the build is still going to be fine. It doesn't make or break the build. Only this jewel here, Brutal Restraint, is the one that's super necessary, and you'll need this Bala. So this might be difficult, and this is the piece that I'm most worried about that you guys will be able to get. This weapon is actually created by a jewel, okay? So this is what I'm actually wearing, and then I hit this skill, and you want 20 quality on this, otherwise you won't have as much crit, but basically it creates then this weapon, and this is what we're then using with Battlemage to convert this into flat damage for our spells, and then we use a spell with a good coefficient, so this is 300%. So this 2,400 gets multiplied by 3. So what are we wearing? We're wearing a Crown of the Inward Eye, no enchantment, Prism Guardian with shitty rolls, 2 rings. I basically crafted each of these rings with essences. For this one, I used a Strength Essence. I used 3 of them. I hit one that had some Chaos Res, and that's all that was. This one was an Int one. I hit it a few times and got both Int and Strength. Then we have a well-rolled Astramentus with Clever Thief. Now you want Clever Thief because you need some form of mana leech, or you're not going to be able to stain the casts from your spells. Now you'll notice here on this ring, I had channeling skills have -3 to total cost, and that's because I'm able to reduce our cyclone down to 0 mana. So it's actually completely free, which is really helpful in situations like that stupid mana drain monster, that you'll be able to still play this build, or in like a no regen map or less regen map. Then we're using Ivory Tower here. Now Ivory Tower works like this. You are reserving your life to get energy shield. The last line doesn't do anything with how we're kind of set up here with the cast damage taken from mana before life, because we're all the way down to 1 life. But you would need shavs for something like this, or you're just going to die to chaos damage, and that's why this flask setup is very, very important, This makes it so chaos damage does not bypass energy shield during the effect. Then we have just a Shaper's Touch, no corruption, a 15% attributes, and then I actually put tributes quality on, which you do from metamorph things called Catalyst. And then we have the Stampede. This comes from Blight, and then we allocated Arcane Focus for some energy shield. So the whole build works around using this to create that weapon. This weapon is created based on your energy shield, so we give up half of our energy shield. But it's pretty basic playstyle. We're just using Cyclone. You use your movement skill, which in this case we're using Frostblink, and then we have an oh crap button for Vol Discipline. If we're taking a bleed or something like that, then we would hit it. Now, for the skill tree, I do want to point out something, and that is that you want a little bit of energy shield leech. So I grabbed here 0.3% of spell damage leech's energy shield. I probably, for my 6th link, would go with energy shield leech, and then I don't need this points anymore. You probably want some source of Consecrated Ground. Getting a Watcher's Eye where Consecrated Ground lasts for 2 additional seconds if you're on it, and then relying on Zealotry will work. Or I really like Purifying Flame for that because it puts Consecrated Ground all over the place that you could stand on. Now, Consecrated Ground also gives you 50% reduced effect of curses. When combined with how I rolled this, we're actually getting 115% reduced effective curses on you during flask effect. So we don't have to worry about any of the annoying curses, hexes, etc. Another thing you want to worry about is immunities. So in our Pantheon, you must unlock these or it's going to feel really badly. This is our only source of cannot be frozen. So you need to don't switch into this until you've unlocked that. We don't have a source of dealing with stun and block. So when we block, we get stunned. And when we get stunned, we get stunned. So we're relying on this for immunity and quick recovery. So make sure that you unlock at least the top 3. The reduced effect of chill is always good as well. Then for the minor, I like to go with this less duration of ignite on you, but more importantly is the second unlock, which is unaffected by burning ground, and you get increased movement speed while you're on burning ground. Now, the Searing Exarch monsters all drop burning ground, and there's a lot of other really annoying things with burning ground that this just completely negates. So I don't see myself not using this on most builds. I just love this minor god Pantheon. I also have Ignite and Shock Immune because of the belt. So for that requirement, we have to have more strength and dex. Not hard to do on this type of a build, but the important thing is int has to be more than strength. So make sure that you don't mess that up with like your ring slots. Outside of that, let me quickly just show you the masteries. So this is Life Mastery. Then we grabbed Reservation of Life Mastery. This is actually nerfed down to 20%, but I've accounted for that in the Path of Building, so it'll work fine. We picked up this. This is actually buffed in the patch that is just about to come out. They changed how Fortify works. You get twice as many stacks. You get 1 more second on the duration. And they buffed both of these 2 nodes. So we should be able to sustain 21 stacks for an extra defensive layer. Then we have 5% all attributes. We have 8% increased damage for each aura. And if we take a look here, this is how many auras we have, okay? So that's worth a pretty nice chunk of damage. And we're able to do that because we're using this Prism Guard. So it allows us to basically reserve, Brace, Zealotry, and Determination on life because of what this shield does. It allows you to get the same effect of pairing it with an Arrogance support. However, you don't have to do that because Socketed Gems cost and reserve life instead of mana. And Arrogance has a built-in thing where it doubles the cost, where this does not. Plus, it gives you increased reservation efficiency. And the only way that you can get life reservation efficiency is this, a Corruption, and then here, these 2 nodes, plus the Mastery. So we invested more. I mean, we have so many auras. Why wouldn't we invest in auras, right? So we invested in this. This is nerfed from 15 to 10, but it doesn't really affect the build in any way. We have Pain Attunement because we're always on low life. We're grabbing this for some reduced extra damage from crits. Very helpful if you're going to try to run some simulacrums on this. And then we use this to just cap out our resist, get some more chaos res. Very important note here, Ghost Dance, which basically every time we're taking a hit, we're getting some of our energy shield back, and we have a decent amount of evasion rating, so 32,530. If you multiply that by 0.03, we're getting 975 energy shield back when we're hit while we have Ghost Dance things. So very nice to smooth damage taken on bosses or just monsters. There are several people on the Discord who played a concept very similar to this last league. So if you need help, you could join the Discord, and there's more than just me who could help you out or give you advice on the build. For me though, I'm not going to be running this at league start. I'm going to be running a Spark build, and then I'm going to transition that into a Magic Finder. If you're interested in that, look at my playlist for my league starter, and you could see what steps I'm taking along the way. So far, I've released a video that showed right when I get to maps, and then one that would be, okay, I farmed a couple yellow maps and I have some gear and it could kind of do reds. The next thing that I'll be releasing in that whole series is where I hope to be at the end of day 2 or early day 3, which is what I would be killing bosses on.